This video is going to be so interesting for me to make because when I start talking about Benfica, bro, I ramble. I could be here for 2 hours with y'all, for real. But I also want to talk about Jokeres. I even want to touch on the Marcus Rashford stuff. There's so many transfers that are going down right now, bro, and I want to talk about so much, bro, but I'll probably end up just talking about Benfica the whole time. So for all my Benfiquistas who click on this video, if you're new around here, eu sou benfiquista, eu sou português. I live in America. I've supported Benfica my entire life since I can remember. I don't remember life without Benfica. So if it's a preseason, if it's the basketball team, if it's the women's team, your boy is there to watch it. If he knows it's on, right? If I know it's on, I'm watching it. But I do not miss the Benfica men team, no matter where they're playing, when they're playing, how they're playing. So very, very passionate about Benfica. So I'm going to say a lot here, and a lot of people might get upset, especially some Turkish fans. Turkish fans, I want you guys to hear me out before you judge me and listen to the whole thing. This was the perfect summer for Benfica. For me, Rios is a huge Benfiquista. Huge Benfiquista. That's the problem. That's the problem. Benfica has been ran by someone like me. If I took over Benfica right now, I would buy everybody. I would buy you guys players just to buy them, right? But when you think with your heart and not with your head, it causes problems. Sometimes you're too passionate and you love something too much that you make bad decisions, and you're not really, you're not seeing it perfectly. And I think Rui Costa has made some really bad decisions because of his heart, just like bringing back Di Maria, Renato Sanchez. A lot of those things, what you do with your heart, haven't really panned out. And Joao Felix in the news and bringing him back, I think this is a good one to bring back. Just like I thought Renato Sanchez giving him a try was a good thing. Bringing Joao Felix back would be huge. And we live in a time in football right now, lads. And I want to talk about Joao Felix. I want to talk about Rios. That's what a signing. But we'll talk about this. And also the biggest signing for me, this signing of the summer for Benfica. And maybe the signing of the summer for Portugal is going to be this Enzo kid. I'll talk about him in a minute, and I'll explain why he's going to be so important to Benfica. But when the season ended, I got on the phone with my cousin, who's a big Sporting fan, and he's so mad at Jokeres, by the way, right now, bro. He's so mad. So anyways, I'm on the phone, and actually, Sporting's about to sign this Suarez kid. I wanted to call my cousin, but he's on the plane to Portugal right now as we speak. He's going over to Portugal. He's going to watch the Super Taça game, Benfica Sporting. And he's like, man, I wish you could go. I said, me too, man, but I got a little baby. I can't, bro. You know what I mean? I don't even got time. I ain't got time to use the bathroom right now with this baby, man. It's just me and the baby all the time, and wifey, bro. We spend a lot of time with the baby. Anyways, at the end of the season, I said, this midfield sucks. This Benfica midfield. For me, they're never going to win nothing. And that's where we'll start, okay? And also, what I was saying, players control so much. Joao Felix is choosing Benfica, which is making it really hard for Chelsea to do any business with him. Same thing Jokeres is doing with Arsenal. When you come out publicly and say that's the only place you want to go, it makes it very hard. And Chelsea's in a place where they're like, okay, maybe we should take this 20 mil, 50%, keep 50% past 20 million, send him to Benfica. It makes it hard to go anywhere else because he's already chosen. Just like when he chose Barcelona, he kind of forced himself to Barca. He's forcing himself to Benfica. And I'm happy about it, but I really hope it pans out. And I'll explain how it can pan out for Joao Felix. First, let's start with the midfield. For me, I've always said that this Benfica midfield was no good. And I know Turkish fans instantly going to say, dude, you had Koçu. What are you talking about? For me, Koçu, an unbelievable talent. Unbelievable talent for Turkey, and for a Turkish player that's just unbelievable. Was great at Feyenoord, where he came from, right? And he's great for the Turkish national team. For Benfica, he was not. It's just the absolute truth. I see Benfica going, how can you let the best player that Benfica had go? For me, Koçu was the biggest investment we've ever put out, and that was not a good return for the most money you've ever paid for a player. Do I think Koçu is a great player and one of the most talented players that was at Benfica? Absolutely. Probably the most talented player at Benfica. But the way we used him was completely wrong. When we bought him, we should have played him as a 10 behind Pavlidis. Instead, we turned him into an 8, a box-to-box, and it just didn't work out. He was too hot-headed on the field. It felt like he was lost on the field. It felt like to me, it felt like he low-key didn't want to play there. He was always trying to fight people and always trying to argue, and you could see always very upset, biting his tongue, literally biting his tongue so he wouldn't like uppercut somebody. Got in a fight with our coach. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good for the most money you've ever spent on a player, right? So allowing him to go was absolutely huge. So this was one of the biggest blessings of the summer. One of the biggest blessings of the summer was allowing him to go to Turkey, right? And the next big blessing was allowing Atletico Madrid to steal, not allowing, but them coming in and stealing Thiago Almeida from us. When they stole Thiago Almeida from us, it really helped us massively. Why? Because if we are actually in the run for Joao Felix, having Thiago Almeida and Joao Felix, we're now doing the same thing that we were going to do with Coach. We were either going to move Thiago Almeida from a 10 to an 8, or we were going to put Joao Felix on the left wing, which this is why he has failed everywhere he's gone in Europe, okay? Joao Felix is not a left winger. Joao Felix is not a striker. Joao Felix is a Kaká type player. He needs to be very close behind the striker. He needs to be able to make passes, use his ability to beat people, score goals from behind the striker. It's what he does best. It's how Bruno Lage, who's our coach now, brought him into our starting 11. Left wing, he doesn't have the pace for this. Does he have the ability to beat somebody 1v1? Yeah, but he doesn't have the pace to keep going. It's very different. Every team keeps throwing him out on the left wing. But this is where I hope Bruno Lage does not do, and this is why I didn't want Thiago Almeida and him. He needs to be behind Pavlidis, and then on the left needs to be either Sherlock or Artokoglu, and then somebody on the right. But putting Joao Felix on the left is an absolute mistake because this guy is so much better as a 10-type player, right? Which would then leave us to have my boy Ricardo Rios as the box-to-box center midfielder, and then Enzo as kind of the brains of the midfield, where we would have Florentino now. I love Florentino. I think Florentino's been an awesome player out of Benfica's academy. I have nothing negative to say about him. People want him gone. I don't want to say that. If they want to sell him, and then it's fine because I think Enzo will be the starter. If they want to use him as someone that helps Enzo throughout the year, that's fine as well. I like the kid. I like him in a Benfica shirt. I think he's incredible at intercepting the ball, but I think he was very unfortunate to have the players he had in front of him. That it just didn't work out with him, Kochu, and Arsenis. It just wasn't a creative enough of a midfield. Nobody there was creative enough out of the center mid position to make anything happen. When we had Enzo Fernandez, you could see that when Florentino won the ball back, give it to Enzo. Enzo would whip these over-the-top through balls or crazy passes to the wing. He knew how to open the game side to side, forward, and this worked well. It made Florentino better, made Arsenis better, made everybody on the team better because he was so good of a passer. And that's what I'm hoping happens with Rios and also Enzo. I'm hoping Enzo is a guy that is able to move the ball quickly. You know, you intercept the ball, make a quick decision. Don't hold it. Don't make a quick decision. And when you got to make a great decision, Florentino lacks that sometimes. He'll kind of stumble over the ball, kind of kick the ball wrong, pass the ball wrong to Antonio Silva, whatever. And it kind of leads to a lot of errors. So for me, like I said, this has been the perfect offseason because you're getting players that actually play certain positions. And I think Benfica will really, if Benfica goes into the year with I think his name is Didic, it's like D-E-D, it's the young right back they got. He's supposed to be very talented. Haven't seen him play yet, but him on the right. And then you go Araujo, Antonio Silva at the center back. Everyone's saying for Antonio Silva to be sold. I can't, as me, Benfiquistas, hear me out real quick. I know you guys are going to disagree with me on this one, but we disagree on a few things. One, everyone is so worried about Prastini or Sherlock panning out at Benfica. I don't give a damn if they work or not. I want to see Benfica work. There's no player bigger than the club. I want to see Benfica work, and I want to see players at Benfica that fight for the shirt the way Otamendi has won me over. Because to me, Otamendi was always a Porto player. But the way he's defended Benfica over the last season and a half is a guy that I want to see more people like him. And for me, Antonio Silva, I'm not turning my back on him. Not yet. The kid gave us such a bright, in the beginning of his time at Benfica, such a bright future. And then at the Club World Cup, he was amazing. For me, Araujo and Antonio Silva, you let them fight for a position, and then Antonio, first of all, Otamendi's old. You don't know if he can make a whole year. It can happen like Di Maria, where you take an injury, all of a sudden now you're done for it. You need both those guys because at the end of the day, when Antonio Silva, when Otamendi, let's say one more year, I would love to have Antonio Silva and Araujo at the team together beside each other. I would love that. A Portuguese duo in the back that's helping the Portuguese national team potentially as well in the future. I mean, that's a dream scenario for Benfica. So the fact that we finally have a Portuguese player that's not like Renato Sanches, Joao Felix, that leaves us right away and we're trying to send him away, it's crazy. Give the kid time, see what can happen to him. He's already shown us that he can be a starter, so I stay with him, right? I'm happy with that. But if it's Antonio Silva or Araujo and then Otamendi, and then you're going to have my boy Dowell on the left, and then in the middle you have Enzo Ricardo Rios, Joao Felix if he comes, and then it'll probably be Schürrle and Artur Kuglu on the right, and Pavlidis at the striker. Brother, that's for me, that's a perfect lineup. If we could get a right winger, I'd rather a right winger because Schürrle hasn't showed me. I know Benfica's like, oh, this guy. Okay, this guy pode ser really talented. Maybe o gajo é tão talented. Okay, maybe. But for me, quando Joao Felix era young, when Joao Felix was young, when Renato Sanchez was young, when Antonio Silva came into the team and he was really good in the beginning, what I'm trying to say to you is when a player comes up and they're really good and we throw them into the lineup, they don't lose their spot. Schürrle has started many games and he loses his starting spot. If he was so talented, why is he losing his spot? Right? Why is he losing his spot? Right? And for people that are mad about Coach, if Coach was so Benfica's best player, why was his only market back to go to Turkey? When you see players leave Benfica, it's usually a bunch of teams fighting for him. We saw teams fight for Enzo. We saw teams fight for Joao Felix. We saw teams fight for Darwin Nunez. We see teams fight for every signing that leaves Benfica. Coach didn't have nobody fighting for him. Why? Because Benfica was holding him back. But he wasn't great at Benfica. So it wasn't like Liverpool and Chelsea and all these players were fighting for Coach. Coach didn't work out. And if he did work out, there would have been more teams fighting for him. I think teams will fight for him once he gets to Turkey and plays the way he's supposed to play. Teams are going to fight for him. But at Benfica, no. So what I'm trying to tell you is, there's certain things that Benfiquistas need to open their eyes to. The first thing is, yeah, we sold Coach, who was a very talented player. He didn't pan out for us. And the whole world knew he didn't pan out for us because he didn't really make enough noise in Europe. Our players sell instantly if they play really well. Didn't happen for Coach. Schürrle, he started and he continues to lose his spot after playing. It's not working out. I hope it works out. But right now, for me, Artur Kuglu came in, started scoring crazy goals instantly. He's working out. Schürrle hasn't worked out. So if you're that talented and you're that good, when you get into the team, they usually don't lose their spot. So that's how I kind of see it. But to talk about Ricardo Rios, I can't even say I know enough about him. I can't, because did I watch a bunch of the Brazilian league? No, absolutely not. I didn't. I watched the Club World Cup and I saw him playing the Club World Cup. I was like, damn, this kid is incredible. Did I think he was going to come to Benfica? Absolutely not. I didn't think he was going to come to Benfica. I thought a big European team would win and then snatched him up. One of those ones with heavy money, right? But we got very lucky, very blessed, and we got him. I'm very happy for it. It's one of those players where I told my cousin, at least we get to watch him for a year. My cousin's a Sporting fan, but as a Benfica fan, I told him, at least we get to watch him for a year. Because if he's as good as he played down there, bro, we got a year. Somebody will come in with 80 million, and he'll be gone. But hopefully that's not the case. He seems incredible. I hope Joao Felix deal gets over the line. I hope we get him. But the way I see Benfica right now was Benfica's worst part was their midfield. It was never their attack. Their attack it wasn't the greatest attack in Portugal because Gyökeres existed. But it wasn't that. It was the fact that we couldn't hold games. We couldn't control games. There was times where smaller teams in Portugal really dominated us. There's times where we would go up by a goal or two and then they would score one goal and we would lose all composure because the midfield had they just couldn't deal with pressure. They couldn't deal with the heat of the moments. So I'm very happy the midfield's getting completely reworked. I think it's what we needed. I still think we need a right winger, but we'll see how that plays out. The Gyökeres deal, I'm absolutely sick of it. Freaking sick of it. I'm sick of Gyökeres. As someone who watches the Portuguese league, bro, from what I've seen, Buddy already emptied his house out. I'm sick of them and I'm sick of Arsenal. Bro, like if this is your guy, man, pay the $2 million. It's like $2 million separating y'all, man. Pay the damn money, bro. Pay the money. Get your guy. Preseason's happening, bro. Get this guy into your preseason so you can see if he's your guy or not, man. Get this. What are you doing? And for Sporting, man, let him go. Let him go, bro. Like this guy already, he's done all this stuff. And I'm not saying this because I want him to leave because he's a great player. No, bro. He disrespected your club massively. Emptying a house before a deal is done, saying you won't show up for training, saying that he'll never play for y'all again. Like, bro, get out of here, bro. Like, if y'all want that at your club, cool, man. That's y'all, man. That's y'all. But the moment that coach said he didn't want to be at Benfica, I'd have went to Portugal and packed his bags for him. I'd have taken him to the airport. You know what I mean? I'd have flown to Portugal, packed his bags, and took him to the airport. Bro, where you want me to drop you off at, bud? Where you want me to drop you off at? You don't want to play for the badge. You don't want to play for the shirt. Get out, bro. And I think everyone should view all their teams like that, bro. There should never be a player that you think is bigger than your club, bro. Ever, ever, ever. If you ever view your football like that, bro, that's wild to me. I think he should go. And there's so much I want to touch on, like with the whole Marcus Rashford thing of people saying, I don't know. People are saying this. People are saying that the whole world got to get ready for Barcelona now because Marcus Rashford's there, and I don't disagree. I think they're really good. I just don't see how y'all are going to fit Marcus Rashford and Rafinha. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother conversation. I just don't see how it's going to work out. I could be completely wrong, but anyways, I think we'll leave it there. I talked forever there. This Gyökeres Arsenal deal needs to happen now. It needs to, bro, for both teams. So Sporting can move on and buy this striker Suarez suppose they want. And so Gyökeres can go to Arsenal and see if he fits their team. And so Arsenal can finally, how to ever say it, like not wait for next season or whatever he always says. Hopefully this Gyökeres will put them over the line to win the Premier League and do what they got to do. But man, what an offseason for Benfica so far. It's still a lot going on. I feel like I need to just be refreshing the page right now because so much is happening for Sporting, for Porto, for Benfica. So much is taking place right now, man, and it's absolutely insane. There's a lot going on right now about Joao Felix, and I see it on the news right now. A lot happening about Joao Felix. So we'll see if that deal gets over the line here real soon. Hopefully it does. Hopefully Chelsea allows him to come back to Benfica. But very, very, very exciting times, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry for rambling for so long. I absolutely love you guys. I wanted to talk more about Gyökeres, but there ain't really much else to say, bro. I think everybody in this whole situation should be frustrated. Arsenal fans should be frustrated. Sporting fans should be frustrated. Neutrals of football that are watching this situation go down should be absolutely frustrated. Why? Because the player has forced his hand. The teams are fighting. It's 2 million or 3 million separating these teams from happening. It seems like Arsenal doesn't want to pay the 3 million. Is that not your guy you want? It's 3 million. Just pay the 3 million. Like if that's your guy. And for Sporting, brother, he doesn't want to be there no more. Just let him go. Move on. Anyways, love you guys. Catch you in the next one. Booyah, baby. We out of here.